You want to know what the best soil is for filling up your raised beds? Well, I'm about to tell you. The answer is potting soil. Now, you can end this video right now with that answer, or you can stick around to see why I came up with that and which potting soil to use. If you've decided to stick around, let me first tell you why I've come up with this answer. Well, there's really two things. One is some testing that we've done here at the nursery where we have used all kinds of different soils in containers to grow different types of vegetables, and potting soil always wins over all of the other options, including bulk options. And that actually makes a lot of sense because if you look at all of the different professional greenhouse growers, which are growing inside of containers, which are just essentially miniature versions of raised beds, all of those professional greenhouse growers are going to be using potting soil inside of their containers. They're not using soil that they've dug out of the ground or compost or any other type of bulk material. So we're essentially just using that same logic, but making it bigger. So if it works really well in a small container, let's extrapolate that out and make it larger like a raised bed. You see, potting soil, the good potting soils at least, are designed and engineered to grow large, healthy plants and to grow them quickly, because that's the ultimate goal of any professional grower, is to grow their plants to market size as quickly as possible. I mean, let's just think about this for a second. If you look at the advice that people give for filling up their raised beds, they're going to say, put in a bunch of organic material such as leaves or sticks at the bottom, fill it up with compost the rest of the way. If we tried that technique in a small container, your vegetables just simply would not grow well. However, there are some drawbacks to purchasing really high quality potting soil in a large quantity to fill up your raised beds. Obviously, number one drawback is the price. If we're talking about filling up raised beds, you potentially would need entire pallets of potting soil to fill up those beds, and that could get really expensive. Now, if money wasn't an issue for a home gardener and they were building new raised beds, then I would say just go and buy a couple pallets of high quality potting soil and fill those beds up, and you're going to outperform almost any other type of soil. But most of us live in the real world where we actually have budgets when we're dealing with gardening, and we have to do things without spending tons and tons of money, right? So the alternative that we are left with in most cases is to essentially make our own potting soil inside of those raised beds by purchasing those ingredients in the most bulky way possible in order to save money as we fill up those beds. And really, the part of the raised beds that we need to focus on the most is that top 12 inches of soil, because that's where the majority of the root activity is going to be. So if you have really deep beds, then you don't have to put that really high quality soil all the way down to the bottom of a 3-foot deep bed. Buying in bulk is always going to be the cheapest option if you have a truck or trailer, or if you can arrange delivery from your local landscape supply house. But those bulk options may not be 100% of what your raised bed needs. So you may need to supplement those bulk items with some bagged items in order to create something that resembles that high quality potting soil. For a real world example, here at Smith's Garden Town, we offer a premium planting mix in bulk, which we mix ourselves. It's got about 5 different ingredients in it, and it's a pretty good soil for your raised beds. But it doesn't quite look like or perform quite as well as a high quality potting soil, so you can add certain ingredients to it and get it really close to an ideal soil. For example, if you filled up 80% of your raised beds with that premium planting mix and then use that final 20% to mix in the following ingredients. Primarily what you would be lacking would be peat moss, perlite, and vermiculite to get that really good mix. And you could buy those in really big bags. Now I know this video is getting long, but I have one more thing to tell you about potting soil in raised beds and containers. Potting soil will beat out any other type of soil as long as you properly fertilize. You see, the one downfall of using potting soil is that it is not very nutritionally rich, so professional growers do add fertilizer in order to keep those plants vibrant and growing healthily. So make sure that you are adding plenty of fresh organic material each year to your raised beds, such as high quality compost, and you can also supplement with good organic fertilizer options that are for vegetables. Now, I did promise at the beginning of the video to tell you what the best potting soil is, so let's go ahead and do that. So my recommendation is to go with what the pros use. In this case, at our greenhouse, we use this Lambert potting soil. It doesn't have the fancy graphics on the bag or the fancy marketing that other brands have, but this is a really good, high quality mix that grows beautiful plants. Now that Lambert potting soil may not be available at your local garden center, so ask them either what they use or what they recommend, or you can always use something like Fox Farm, Happy Frog, or Ocean Forest. They make really good, high quality products as well.